So you are all welcome to my first virtual tutorial class. The topic of the class is ecological niche. Ecological niche. This class will be helpful for the students of both 4th sem UG and 1st sem PG classes. The concept of ecological niche is more or less similar to the concept of habitat, but there exists some difference between these two. Habitat refers to the place where organisms live. For example, pond is a habitat for different type of fishes, different type of aquatic animals, different type of aquatic plants. Soil of a forest floor is a habitat for different type of fauna, soil fauna. Air is permanent or temporary habitat for different type of microorganisms, so on and so forth. But ecological niche is somewhat different from the habitat in the sense that the term ecological niche is more inclusive term, and it involves not only the physical space occupied by the organism, but also its functional role, particularly its trophic position and the position in environmental gradients. Therefore, we have three types of ecological niches on the basis of these three aspects. One is spatial niche, or sometimes it is called habitat niche, trophic niche related to food or its functional role in a community, trophic niche, and the position in the environmental gradients, that is multidimensional or hypervolume niche. Hypervolume niche. So we have these three types of ecological niche: the physical space occupied by the organisms, trophic niche, the organisms, their functional activities, functional role in a community, particularly their food, related to food activities, and multidimensional hypervolume niche, its position in the environmental gradients. So let me explain these three one by one. Spatial niche. It refers to the physical space occupied by the organisms, but this niche more or less is like the habitat, concept of habitat, but actually the organism live in the small region of a particular habitat or general habitat. The small area or small region of a particular general habitat are called microhabitat. That means the habitat can be subdivided. The subdivision habitat is called the microhabitat, and the environmental variable present in the microhabitat is called microclimate or microenvironment. Environment. For example, Darrang College is a habitat for around 5,000 students. This is a general habitat. Darrang College is a general habitat for 5,000 students. These 5,000 students do not live in in Darrang College. They confine to small region of the Darrang College. That is what called departments. The 5,000 students are separated in about 26 departments, 26 different departments. So these small departments can be considered as the microhabitat. For example, pond is a habitat for different type of aquatic organism, different type of fishes. So if you look carefully, then you will find they actually live in small region of the general habitat of that pond. Some are surface dweller, some fishes live on the surface area of the water pond. Some are column dweller. Column means middle part of the column area, the middle portion of the pond, and some are bottom dwellers. So their physical space is different. However, they live in the same general habitat, that is pond. So this subdivision of habitat, the small habitat, small region of a general habitat is called microhabitat, and the environmental gradient is called the microenvironment. A leaf, a tree, for example, tree can be a habitat for different type of birds. But in the tree, the birds live in the different position of the tree. Some are at the top of the tree, some live at the middle part of the tree, some at the lower part of the tree. So they actually occupy a small region of a particular tree habitat, general habitat. So it was Joseph Grinnell who coined the term niche, to denote that microhabitat. Now it is called spatial niche or habitat niche. He considered that this microhabitat as a distributional unit of the organism. But this concept, this habitat niche or spatial niche, is not sufficient to study the different functional aspect of the organism. Therefore, it was Charles Elton who gave another concept, what we call the trophic niche. And trophic niche, the organism that they are positioned in accordance to their food habit. The spatial niche is they occupy a small region of a general habitat. For spatial niche, one example, very good example given by O'Neill. I'll come to this point, trophic niche later on. Let me explain the spatial niche with an example. O'Neill who studied 7 species of millipedes. That 7 species of millipedes found on the forest floor. And these 7 species of millipedes present in different small the microhabitat. The forest floor, he found the 7 species in the forest floor is a general habitat. In the forest floor, some fallen wooden logs was there. The 7 species found, there were several gradients in the decomposition stage from center of the log to the bottom of the leaf litter. So there is a several gradient in the decomposition stage. So these several gradients of the decomposition stage considered as a microhabitat. So accordingly, 7 species present in this small microhabitat condition. One species live on the uppermost bark of the wooden log here, uppermost bark of the wooden log. The another species inside the bark of the uppermost bark. Some here at the central position. Now there is several ingredients in the decomposition stage. Different decomposition stages was found. So accordingly, the 7 millipedes were found to present there. So some on the lower bark, inside the lower bark, underneath the leaf litter, here leaf litter. Leaf litter means fallen leaves of a tree is called leaf litter. So that way he found 7 species of millipedes. So their general habitat, the forest floor is same, but actually they live in small region of the forest floor, or on the forest, on the wooden logs. So this is the classical example. So they actually avoid the competition. They all are, their trophic position is same. Their trophic position is same. Their food, these millipedes, they are detrivores. They feed on the decomposed material. So their trophic position is same. Their trophic niche is same. But their spatial is different. Their habitat is different in this forest floor. So they avoid competition for food. But there will be competition for food, but there won't be competition for space, for habitat, since their habitat niche is different. So ecological niche, therefore the trophic niche, sometimes what happens, the spatial niche is same, but their trophic niches are different. So in case of birds, some birds they live in trees, that's the general habitat, but their spatial is same, but they may differ in the food position. Some birds are herbivorous, they feed on the leaves or the buds. Some eat insect, carnivorous. So their food is different. So there will be competition for space, but there won't be competition for food because their trophic niches are different. So what is called a trophic niche. And the third concept is called hypervolume or multidimensional niche. Multidimensional niche or hypervolume niche. Hypervolume niche. So this concept was given by Hutchinson. And this niche can be measured mathematically. And according to Hutchinson, niche can be considered as a portion of hypervolume occupied by the organism where it works, reproduces, and grows. Now, what is hypervolume? A portion of hypervolume or a portion of multidimensional space occupied by the organism where it works, grows, and reproduces. And what is hypervolume? Hypervolume is a multidimensional space created jointly by the upper and lower or maximum or minimum limits of several environmental variables. So upper limits or maximum or lower limits means what? Each and every organism has a range of tolerance against each and every environmental factors. So environment is made up of n number of variables, n number of factors, several conditions. So each and every organism has range of the tolerance against this each and every environmental factors. For example, temperature. The temperature, some organisms may tolerate maximum 50 degrees centigrade, for example, 50 degrees centigrade and minimum suppose minus 10 degrees centigrade. This is the suppose species A, and this species has the range of tolerance against temperature is this much. This is the range of tolerance, 50 degrees centigrade maximum and minus 10 degrees centigrade minimum. Within this range, they will grow, they will survive, they will reproduce. They will perform their normal activities within this range. Therefore, this two extreme, minimum and maximum, neither too high too low. So this is what, since environment is composed of n number of variables, if we plot these variables one by one, in graph. Suppose if I take temperature and humidity, relative humidity on the y-axis. So that organism, particular organism, suppose species or organism A, that species will have some range of tolerance against temperature. Within this range, minimum and maximum, this is low, this is high, and same is true for also humidity, minimum and maximum. So we will have a box-shaped space. So this is range of tolerance. So what is called, sometimes it is called ecological amplitude also. So this is range of tolerance. This is range of tolerance. This is area for temperature, and this is for humidity. This is high and this is low. This is high and this is low for humidity and for temperature. So it is a box-shaped structure. So it is a space. It is a space of what? It is a space of humidity. It is a space of two-dimensional space. Since we are taking two factors, the two-dimensional space. So it is a two-dimensional box. And this temperature and humidity both are not independent, they are dependent. So tolerance to the temperature, high temperature will be associated with the increase in humidity. So instead of the box shape, we may get some elliptical shape. So temperature and humidity. So it is a two-dimensional. Since environment is having n number of variables, so we are putting only two variables. That's a two-dimensional. Suppose if I add another variable, one variable, suppose the phosphorus content in the soil. So that particular organism will also tolerate against this phosphorus contents with these boundaries. So we will have this type of structure. So it is a three-dimensional area, three-dimensional space. So that way we can put fourth number of variables, fifth number of variables. So that way we will get a multi-dimensional space, or what is called hypervolume. So it is a hypervolume of 3 dimension. It is a hypervolume of 2 dimension. But we use the hypervolume when the variable is more than 3 or more than 2. So it is not possible to get 4 or 5 dimension or 6 dimension. So it is an abstract idea. It is an abstract idea, multi-dimensional concept given by Hutchinson. It is an abstract idea. So he considered niche is a portion of hypervolume. A portion of hypervolume occupied by the organism where it goes, and this is a higher limit, this is a lower limit, this is higher limit, this is lower limit, this is higher limit, that way. And where it grows, reproduce and they perform their normal activities. But according to him, according to Hutchinson, there are 2 types of fundamental, or 2 types of this multidimensional niche or hypervolume niche. One is called fundamental niche, and realized niche. So what is the fundamental niche? The fundamental niche, it is an abstractly inhabited hypervolume. Abstractly inhabited. When you put all the variables, then that space, n-dimensional space will be created, and that n-dimensional space will be the fundamental niche of the organism. For example, if I allow only one student sit in this classroom has about more than 10 desks and benches, and that particular student will have freedom to sit any benches. That is fundamental niche. But if I allow another 10 or another 20 students to come inside, then his fundamental niche will be contracted, shrink, will be reduced. So each and every organism has the fundamental niche, but due to competition, because no organism is free from the competition in this nature. All have to compete for food, compete for space, compete for other environmental variables. So since there is a competition, so this fundamental niche will be reduced, and the remaining niche will be called realized niche. So this fundamental niche, we have the fundamental niche. Suppose fundamental niche we have, this is the fundamental niche when species is not competing. Because of competition, that fundamental niche will be, this is fundamental niche of another species, suppose species A and species B, and this will be the realized niche. This will be the realized niche, this will be the realized niche, and this is the competing zone. There will be intense competition for maybe for both space and food. And this is the realized niche. This unshaded region will be the realized niche of the both species, and this is the competing zone. So therefore, each and every organism has the fundamental niche, but they do not enjoy this fundamental niche because of competition. Because of competition, this fundamental niche will be reduced, and then they will enjoy a small portion of that hypervolume, what is called the realized niche. So he considered the ecological niche is a portion of the hypervolume or multidimensional space occupied by organism, and delimited by upper limit and lower limit of several environmental gradients. This is what the fundamental niche and realized niche. So we may have three instances, like maybe sometimes the fundamental niche of one species is completely separate from the fundamental niche of another species, suppose A and B. This is happening. You may find in nature this type. It's like a man and elephant. Earlier, we have a different habitat. Elephant have different habitat and different food. But nowadays, these niches are overlapping gradually, and therefore this type of variance is coming up. Man and elephant conflict. So this type of, we may get this type of overlapping niche, species A and B. This is overlapping. The fundamental niche, some portion of fundamental niche is overlap with the fundamental niche of another species. May say is a man and elephant, maybe this example of man and elephant conflict may be considered in that case. The competition, there will be competition for both the space, for space and food. But if there will be competition, intense competition, and this is a realized niche. And sometimes you may get the fundamental niche of one species is completely within the fundamental niche of another species. So you may get this type of also. You may get three type of instances in nature. Niches are separated, overlapped, partial overlapping is there, and completely the fundamental niche of one species is completely within the fundamental niche of another species. Here you see there will be intense competition, and they may compete for space, but if their trophic niches are different, they may not compete for the food. For example, in Africa, two species of rhino, black and white, rhino, black and white. Their spatial niche is same, but their trophic niches are different. The black rhino, they are generally the browser. They eat high growing shrubs. They browse the tree, leaves of the tree, mainly shrubs. And the white rhino are the grazers. They graze herbs and the grasses. So that way they avoid competition for food, but there will be intense competition for space. So this is what ecological niche in a nutshell. So here I conclude, and this I hope this will benefit the students of both 4th sem UG and first sem PG classes. Thank you very much.